thank Ray Rickman for coming in as he does each week to give us Big View. And I'd also like to welcome now my next guest, Tom Riel with the Providence-Warwick Convention and Visitors Bureau. Thank you for coming in today.
Thanks for having me, Kate.
We're in the thick of the high summer season, but big numbers coming out from the CVB this week pertaining to the most recent fiscal year, the impact of meetings, conventions, and sporting events here in the state. $73.65 million.
That's right.
Now we see this was FY18, but as we were discussing earlier, this is something that is years in the making to bring all these conventions in and bring
That's
them back
correct.
year after year. So how many years are we talking to really lure these folks in and get them booked?
Average probably 3 to 4, actually. The process begins, as we just said, a few years out, where our sales team fans across the country looking for the appropriate customer who Providence is a great package for, our offering works for, and we pull them in typically, like I said, 3 years in advance. That layers the base of business on the books for the city, allowing hotels to reduce inventory, driving rate for that transient business that comes in a week in advance, and all of that adds up to this great economic impact for the destination.
We saw some big numbers. We saw some year-over-year numbers for hotel room rate has gone up, and then occupancy.
About $5 this year.
And then occupancy as well. Of course, as we know, all eyes are on hotel construction here. How much is the CVB salivating to see more inventory?
We're really looking forward to it. You know, the new inventory that's coming into market is inventory we've not previously had. A lot of it is extended stay hotels or designed for the long-term stay. And we've not had any of this inventory here in the market, so this is going to be great for us. We do have a significant number of guests who come into the city on Monday and stay till Thursday every week for several months on end, primarily consultant groups and folks like that. This offers them a terrific product. These hotel rooms are more of an apartment than they are just a hotel room, which adds to their comfort while here.
So adds to the mix as well. So talk a little bit about that sort of hand-to-hand combat of getting the conventions and meetings here. I have to imagine some groups say, you know, we simply like to go around the country and try a new spot each year. But then I'm sure there are those that say, you know, I really like Providence, we're coming back. I mean, what do you see the trends are? Is it really dependent on the organization?
It does. Primarily, we host a lot of national association business, and typically, associations do need to rotate across the country in order to meet in the destinations where their members live. But fortunate for us, we're in that densely populated Northeast, so having a Northeast rotation for most associations is a must. So oftentimes we'll book a convention, they'll find that this city works really well for them, and then they'll repeat maybe on an every 3 or every 4 year basis with us, which is terrific. We love them.
And so how big is the summer season going on right now, especially here in the city? You know, schools are out, but there doesn't seem to be too much of a fall off. We're still seeing a lot of folks on the street.
There's a lot of people out and about right now. In fact, we hosted a customer here earlier this week who commented on how vibrant the city was. And that was a meeting planner for the Society of Thoracic Surgeons. And based upon the liveliness of the city, all of the cranes in the air, her comment was, there's just something going on here. And they're going to book 1,260 rooms for the year 2020 with us.
As you said, looking several years out, liking what they saw, putting the money where the mouth is. And let's talk a little bit about just the importance of the convention center itself as an anchor for what draws in these meetings and conventions.
The Rhode Island Convention Center is just our primary asset and is the core of the success of our business. This year, about 70% of the revenue that we bring in, the direct spend that occurs in the market, is associated with the convention center. I mean, let's talk about that. That's $51 million plopped down into the city as a result of having this asset in this meeting facility for our customers to utilize. That's a huge, huge win for us.
So what else are we looking for now moving forward to FY19, building on the success of those numbers for FY18? What are some of the big conventions, some of the big meetings that we're looking at in the coming year?
Coming up just within the next month, USA Gymnastics will host a national governor's body conference here, bringing about 750 people in. And as we know, USA Gymnastics has some hot topics on the table right now, so that'll be a very vibrant meeting. Coming up next week, we have the Roar Jewish community coming in, a Jewish retreat that's coming in, utilizing a couple thousand hotel rooms just next week. week. We have the American Academy of Physicians Assistants coming in over the course of the next month. So we have a really busy rest of the summer and fall on tap.
Yeah, those bumper seasons are really big too, the spring and the summertime.
Absolutely.
We've had Martha in here and talked about that as well. So we're looking at more hotel rooms. If you had sort of your wish list of things that, as we're looking forward, that Providence in the entire state that you said, I wish we had this. What else could it even enhance the experience here?
I wish I had a larger convention center right now, honestly, because we have demand right now, and I think that would be a huge, huge help for us. But the additional hotel rooms coming on market excite us very, very much. And what's really nice is the hotels that are being discussed and developed really appeal to today's traveler. They're more of a boutique hotel. Today's traveler is looking to get out into the neighborhoods and really experience the destination, and I think that the design and concepts that are being put forward are going to pull our tourists right into our city, having them live like a local while they're here, which is exactly what we want.
Well, we do know of some boutique ones coming online as well. So looking at, again, the $73.65 million for FY18, is the pressure there to
very much so
to beat that number for the coming year?
Absolutely. We're looking, year over year, we look for 5% increases each year. And again, though, what's really helping us is what's happening in Providence right now. I mean, we feel that our city is at a tipping point going in the right direction. And how can you not walk around downtown right now and look up at all of these cranes and see all these people on the street and not be excited about that? And our customers feel it as well. So I feel like just organically, we're going to continue to grow.
And do you have a sense, looking at numbers, you know the numbers, as we're here downtown, just behind us to the south, the ferry between Providence and Newport, do a lot of visitors use that asset? Do you see it as a mix of residents and visitors who are actually taking the ferry?
As far as I know, and I'm not intimately involved with that, I do know that our visitor center refers quite a few of our visitors, our leisure visitors or vacationers, to the ferry. But I also drive by it every day, and there's an awful lot of Rhode Island plates parked there. So I think it's a healthy mix, quite frankly. As far as the numbers riding, I'm not familiar with that number.
And let's talk a little bit about Newport and the hotel capacity there as well. I know it may be outside your purview a little bit, but do you think that we'll see more there in the coming years as well?
I do. I know Evan Smith, who is the president and CEO of Discover Newport, and I were in Los Angeles together last week, and we had lunch, and he was talking about some development that's being discussed in their city as well, right downtown as well as out where the old Highlight used to be. So they're looking at least 2 new hotels coming online. I don't know a lot about the scope or type, but I do know that it is on the drawing board.
Every place is looking as needing more hotel areas. And outside the Providence proper, is there a demand or need for and sort of a more tertiary area for more hotels as well?
Well, when we fill Providence with meetings, conventions, and sporting events, which, as you can tell, we do quite often, that's called compression, and it pushes our business traveler or our transient guests out of the city a little bit. So as rising tide floats all boats, as Providence rises in occupancy, and 74% this year is a record breaker for us, that benefits all of the surrounding towns.
Okay, well, very good. We'll provide more of those numbers again, reporting on what the Providence-Warwick Convention and Visitors Bureau put out for numbers for FY18. $73.65 million was the impact from conventions, meetings, sporting events, and more. Well, Tom Riel, I appreciate you taking the time to come here into the studio.
Thank you, my pleasure.
We'll let you get started with your weekend, and we'll be right back here with our next guest in the Navigant Credit Union Broadcast Center.